Taylor Swift stepped out of her sleek black SUV, the sun glinting off the glass facade of the luxurious hotel. She adjusted her oversized sunglasses and took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the world lift ever so slightly. This weekend was meant to be her escape, a chance to unwind away from the frenzy of paparazzi and relentless media scrutiny. As she walked toward the entrance, she tried to imagine herself lounging by the pool, far away from flashing cameras and the expectations that came with her fame. Upon entering the lobby, she was greeted by the elegant decor. Chandeliers sparkling overhead, plush seating areas, and the soft murmur of guests enjoying their luxurious surroundings. For a moment, it felt like stepping into another world, one that was calm and serene. But as she approached the reception desk, her heart began to race. The young woman behind the counter barely glanced up as Taylor approached, her fingers flying over the keyboard. The receptionist had an air of impatience, her meticulously styled hair reflecting her attitude. "Name," she snapped without even a smile. "Taylor Swift," Taylor replied, her voice steady but her stomach nodding. She forced a smile, reminding herself that she was here to relax. "All right." "The pop star," the receptionist said, finally looking up with a dismissive smirk. "Hope you don't expect us to roll out the red carpet for you. This isn't one of your music videos." A wave of silence washed over the lobby, the air thick with tension. Taylor felt her cheeks flush with embarrassment, the moment stretching into an eternity. She could feel the eyes of other guests on her, some in disbelief, others in amusement. Was this really happening? She took a deep breath, fighting back the urge to retort. Instead, she straightened her shoulders, reminding herself that she was more than just a celebrity. She was a person deserving of respect. "I just want to check in, please," she said calmly, forcing her heart to slow. The receptionist rolled her eyes again, but tapped a few keys on the computer. "You're in room 403. Here's your key," she said, slapping the card onto the counter as if it were a burden. "Thank you," Taylor replied, her voice barely above a whisper as she picked up the key. She turned away from the desk, her heart still pounding in her chest. How could someone be so unkind? She wanted to shake off the incident, to brush it aside like an annoying fly. As she walked toward the elevators, she spotted a familiar face entering the lobby. Keanu Reeves, the Hollywood icon known for his kindness and humility, strolled in, his presence radiating warmth. Taylor felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps his aura could shift the energy of the place. Just then, Keanu caught her eye. His expression shifted from casual interest to concern as he observed her tense posture. She forced a smile, but it felt fragile, like glass ready to shatter. In that moment, as the elevator doors slid open, Taylor knew she had to let the negativity go. "This weekend is for me," she whispered to herself, stepping inside the elevator and pressing the button for her floor. As the doors closed, she caught a glimpse of Keanu standing at the reception, his brow furrowed in disapproval. Maybe, just maybe, this weekend would bring more than just relaxation. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? Taylor exhaled, letting the elevator carry her upward, hopeful that things could turn around. Little did she know, this encounter was only the beginning of a story that would unfold in unexpected ways. As the elevator doors opened to her floor, Taylor stepped out, feeling a mixture of relief and lingering tension. She walked down the plush, carpeted hallway, her mind racing back to the events that had led her to this moment. She had always dreamed of fame, but the reality had come with its own set of challenges. Growing up in Reading, Pennsylvania, Taylor was a shy, imaginative girl with a passion for music. Her family supported her dreams, and they often spent evenings singing together in their living room. But as her career took off, so did the scrutiny. Each album release brought a whirlwind of attention, and with it, the inevitable backlash. From critiques of her personal life to harsh comments about her appearance, she often felt like she was under a microscope. Despite the struggles, Taylor had her support system. Her mother, Andrea, was her rock, always reminding her to stay grounded. Then there were her friends, like Selena and Ed, who provided a sense of normalcy in her chaotic life. They would often remind her of the girl she used to be, the one who wrote songs in her bedroom and dreamed of performing in front of crowds. As she entered her hotel room, the plush surroundings did little to alleviate the sense of isolation creeping in. She threw her bag onto the bed and let out a long sigh. The initial excitement of the weekend had been overshadowed by the receptionist's comments. It was moments like these that made her question whether she could ever truly escape the pressures of fame. She wandered over to the window, looking out at the bustling city below. The view was breathtaking, yet it felt distant, almost unattainable. All she wanted was to enjoy a little anonymity, to blend in with the crowd. But how could she when her very presence drew attention? A soft knock interrupted her thoughts, pulling her back to reality. Taylor opened the door to find room service, a waiter carrying a tray filled with an array of delicacies. The sight of the exquisite meal made her stomach rumble, but her mind was elsewhere. "Everything okay, Miss Swift?" the waiter asked, a hint of awe in his voice. "Yes, just a little overwhelmed," she admitted with a faint smile. He nodded knowingly. "I understand. If you need anything, just let us know." As he left, Taylor took a seat on the plush sofa, staring at the food but finding little appetite. She couldn't shake the feeling of humiliation from earlier. The world often painted her as untouchable, but beneath the surface, she was just a person trying to navigate her life. In that moment of vulnerability, her phone buzzed with a text from Selena. "Hey, thinking of you. Want to FaceTime later?" Taylor smiled at the message, grateful for friends who reminded her of who she truly was. She quickly typed back, "Definitely. Need to vent." After a quick shower, she felt slightly rejuvenated. The warm water had washed away some of her frustrations, and she decided to sit by the window with her phone. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Taylor connected with Selena. "Hey, girl." Selena beamed on the screen, her bright smile lighting up Taylor's mood. "Hey, you have no idea how much I needed this," Taylor said, sinking into the cushions. Selena's expression shifted to concern. "What's wrong? You look stressed." "I had a rough encounter with the hotel receptionist. She was just so rude," Taylor explained, recounting the events of the day. Selena listened intently, nodding in understanding. "You know, people forget you're a human being, not just a celebrity. But you're stronger than they realize. Don't let it get to you." "Easier said than done," Taylor sighed, looking out at the twinkling city lights. "But remember why you started all of this. Your music touches people, and that's what matters," Selena encouraged, her words a gentle reminder of Taylor's purpose. The conversation flowed effortlessly, lifting Taylor's spirits. They joked, shared stories, and reminisced about old times, allowing Taylor to momentarily forget the negative encounter. As they wrapped up the call, she felt lighter, reconnected with her true self. Stepping away from the window, she decided to embrace the rest of her weekend. With Keanu Reeves staying in the hotel, she felt a flicker of excitement. Maybe their paths would cross again. Perhaps this weekend could still hold surprises, even amidst the chaos. With newfound determination, Taylor took a deep breath, ready to face whatever came next. After all, she was not just a pop star. She was Taylor, a woman with dreams, passions, and the strength to overcome any obstacle. And little did she know, her journey was just beginning. The following morning, Taylor awoke feeling refreshed. Sunlight streamed through the curtains, illuminating the room in a warm glow. She stretched and smiled, ready to embrace the day. After her call with Selena, she was determined to make the most of her getaway, leaving behind the negativity of the previous day. After a quick breakfast, she decided to explore the hotel. The luxurious amenities included a stunning rooftop pool and a well-equipped gym, both of which piqued her interest. She headed up to the rooftop, eager to bask in the sun and perhaps enjoy a few quiet moments to herself. As she settled onto a lounge chair, the soothing sound of water from the pool filled the air. It was tranquil, just what she needed. Taylor pulled out her notebook, jotting down ideas for new lyrics. Music was her escape, and the serene environment provided the perfect backdrop for her creativity. However, her peace was soon interrupted when she spotted the receptionist from the previous day. The woman was chatting with a group of guests, laughing and joking, her demeanor completely transformed. Taylor's heart sank. Did this woman not understand the impact of her words? Deciding to let it go, Taylor returned to her notebook, but the atmosphere had shifted. Every time the receptionist laughed, it felt like a taunt. Taylor tried to focus on her writing, but the feeling of unease lingered. Just then, she noticed a commotion by the pool. Keanu Reeves had arrived, his presence effortlessly drawing attention. He was casual in a fitted t-shirt and jeans, looking relaxed as he greeted fans and signed autographs. Taylor watched from her lounge chair, impressed by how he handled the crowd with grace and kindness. As she admired him from afar, she couldn't help but wish for a moment of connection. Perhaps she could approach him, share a laugh, and forget about the previous day's incident. But doubt crept in. What if he was too busy? What if he wouldn't want to talk to her? After a few moments of contemplation, she decided to take a leap of faith. She stood up, smoothing down her sundress, and approached the pool area. As she got closer, she felt a mix of excitement and anxiety swirling inside her. Just as she reached the edge of the crowd, she overheard the receptionist making another remark. "Look, it's Taylor Swift. Wonder if she'll sing us a song while she's here," she said with a sneer, eliciting laughter from the group. Taylor's heart sank, the humiliation flooding back. The laughter stung, and she felt anger bubbling up. Who did this woman think she was? Before she could think it through, she stepped forward, ready to confront her. "Excuse me," Taylor said, her voice steady but firm. "I don't appreciate being mocked." The crowd fell silent, surprise etched on their faces. Keanu turned to look at her, his expression shifting from curiosity to concern. The receptionist rolled her eyes. "Oh, come on. It was just a joke. Lighten up." "It's not funny," Taylor replied, crossing her arms. "You don't know anything about my life, or the pressure that comes with it. I'm just trying to enjoy my time here like everyone else." Keanu stepped closer, his calm demeanor radiating an air of support. "She's right," he said, his voice soothing yet authoritative. "We all deserve respect, no matter who we are." The receptionist's smugness faltered as the crowd murmured in agreement. Taylor could feel the tension shift, and for a moment, it felt empowering to stand her ground. "Thanks," she said to Keanu, gratitude flooding her. He smiled warmly, his presence comforting. "You handled that really well. People forget that words can hurt." Taylor nodded, feeling a sense of camaraderie with him. The moment felt surreal. Here she was, standing next to Keanu Reeves, having a real conversation about kindness and respect. As the crowd began to disperse, Taylor felt a renewed sense of strength. Maybe this weekend wouldn't be just an escape. It could be a turning point. With Keanu by her side, perhaps she could turn this negative energy into something positive. Just as she was about to thank him again, the receptionist, visibly embarrassed, made a quick exit, leaving behind an awkward silence. The crowd slowly resumed their activities, but Taylor's heart raced. She had faced the confrontation head-on, and now she felt a sense of empowerment. "Do you want to grab a drink?" Keanu asked, breaking the silence and offering a friendly smile. "Sure," she replied, feeling the weight of the morning lift off her shoulders. As they walked toward the bar area, Taylor couldn't shake the feeling that this encounter was destined to lead to something greater. With Keanu's support, she felt like she could tackle anything that came her way. Little did she know, the unexpected twists of the weekend had only just begun. The sun hung high in the sky as Taylor and Keanu settled into a cozy corner of the rooftop bar, a refreshing breeze carrying the scent of the ocean from afar. Taylor couldn't help but smile as she sipped her iced tea, the tension from earlier melting away. Keanu was easy to talk to, and she found herself opening up in ways she hadn't anticipated. "So, what brings you to this hotel?" Taylor asked, genuinely curious. "I mean, you could stay anywhere." Keanu chuckled softly, a warm sound that made her feel at ease. "Honestly, I needed a break. I've been filming back-to-back projects, and I just wanted some time to recharge. This place seemed like a good escape." "I get that," Taylor replied, feeling a kinship with his need for solitude. "Sometimes it feels like the world just doesn't stop. It's nice to have a moment to breathe." Their conversation flowed effortlessly, ranging from movies to music and even the pressures of fame. Taylor shared her experiences of navigating the music industry and the constant scrutiny that came with it. Keanu listened intently, nodding and offering his perspective on the challenges of staying true to oneself in the public eye. As they chatted, Taylor noticed other guests glancing their way, some whispering and pointing. Part of her felt self-conscious, but another part embraced the moment. Here she was, sharing laughs with Keanu Reeves, a Hollywood icon, and for the first time in a long while, she felt like she could be herself. Just then, the waiter approached their table, interrupting their conversation. "Excuse me, but could I get a photo with you both?" he asked, excitement gleaming in his eyes. Taylor exchanged a quick glance with Keanu, who smiled kindly. "Of course," Taylor said, leaning in as the waiter snapped the picture. It felt refreshing to share this light-hearted moment, and she could see how the waiter's spirit brightened. After the photo, Taylor turned back to Keanu, her heart fluttering. "This is nice. It's easy to forget what it feels like to just connect with someone." Keanu nodded, his expression thoughtful. "I think we all crave connection, especially in this industry. It's so easy to feel isolated, even when surrounded by people." Their conversation continued, delving deeper into their lives, fears, and dreams. Taylor shared stories from her tours, the adrenaline rush of performing in front of thousands, and the quiet moments she cherished in between. Keanu talked about his passion for acting and the projects that mattered most to him, including his love for charitable work. As the sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the city, Taylor couldn't shake the feeling that something special was happening between them. She had always admired Keanu for his humility and kindness, but this connection felt different, like they were two souls navigating the complexities of their respective worlds. Suddenly, a loud commotion erupted from the pool area, shattering the peaceful ambience. Taylor turned to see the receptionist from earlier, now arguing with a couple who had just checked in. The tension in the air grew palpable as the guests appeared frustrated, their voices rising. Keanu frowned, his brow furrowing. "Looks like some people just don't know when to stop." Taylor watched the scene unfold, her heart racing. "Should we intervene?" she asked, feeling a rush of determination. "Maybe we can help," Keanu replied, standing up and motioning for her to follow. As they approached the group, Taylor's stomach churned with a mix of anxiety and excitement. The receptionist was once again at the center of the chaos, her attitude sharp and dismissive. "Look, I don't care if you're a guest here. You can't just demand a suite upgrade," she shouted, her voice echoing off the hotel walls. "Can we talk to the manager?" "This isn't right," the couple insisted, frustration evident on their faces. Keanu stepped forward, his presence commanding attention. "Excuse me, is everything okay here?" His tone was calm but firm, drawing the attention of the surrounding guests. The receptionist turned, a flicker of annoyance crossing her face. "This is none of your business," she snapped, but her bravado faltered under Keanu's steady gaze. "Actually it is," he replied. "Everyone deserves to be treated with respect. Can we help resolve this?" Taylor felt a rush of admiration for him. He wasn't just standing up for her earlier. He was extending that support to others in need. She felt empowered by his example, ready to take action. "Exactly," Taylor added, stepping closer. "This couple deserves to have a pleasant experience, just like everyone else here. Let's find a way to make it right." The atmosphere shifted as other guests chimed in, supporting Taylor and Keanu's stance. The receptionist's expression changed, realizing she was outnumbered. Finally, she relented, agreeing to call the manager to address the situation. As the crowd dispersed, Taylor turned to Keanu, her heart racing. "You were amazing. Thank you for standing up for them." He smiled, a genuine warmth in his eyes. "I think we all need to look out for each other. It's what makes us human." In that moment, Taylor felt a bond forming between them, one built on mutual respect and understanding. Perhaps this weekend was turning out to be more than just a getaway. It was a reminder of the power of kindness. As they walked back to their table, the sun dipping below the horizon, Taylor couldn't shake the feeling that this connection with Keanu might lead to something extraordinary. Little did she know, their journey was about to take another unexpected turn. As the evening unfolded, the rooftop bar transformed into a lively hub of laughter and conversation. The sunset painted the sky in rich shades of purple and gold, and Taylor felt a sense of warmth enveloping her. After the earlier confrontation, the atmosphere felt lighter, and she was grateful for the shared moments with Keanu. They returned to their table, and Taylor couldn't help but admire the way he engaged with those around him. He was approachable and genuine, a stark contrast to the superficiality she often encountered in her world. "You really have a way of bringing out the best in people," she said, her admiration evident. Keanu shrugged, a modest smile on his face. "I just believe we can all use a little kindness, especially in this industry. Sometimes it's easy to forget that we're all human." Their conversation took on a deeper tone, and Taylor felt the walls she had built around her emotions begin to crumble. She found herself opening up about her insecurities, sharing the burdens she carried as a public figure. "It's hard to find genuine connections," she admitted. "People often want something from me, and it can feel really isolating." Keanu listened intently, his gaze unwavering. "I can relate. The pressure to maintain a certain image can be overwhelming. It's important to find people who see you for who you truly are." In that moment, Taylor felt an emotional wave wash over her. She had spent so much time hiding behind her persona, trying to meet the expectations of the world, but with Keanu, she felt safe. "Sometimes I wonder if I'm enough," she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. He leaned forward, his expression earnest. "You are more than enough. Your music resonates with people. It touches their hearts. That's a powerful gift. Don't let anyone make you feel otherwise." Taylor's eyes glistened with unshed tears. It had been a long time since someone had seen her, not just as a superstar, but as a person with fears and hopes. "Thank you," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "That means more to me than you know." Just then, the waiter arrived with a fresh round of drinks, interrupting the intimate moment. Taylor quickly blinked back her tears, grateful for the distraction. Keanu raised his glass, a playful grin on his face. "To unexpected friendships," he said, and they clinked glasses, laughter echoing around them. As they sipped their drinks, Taylor noticed a change in the energy around them. The earlier confrontation had united guests in a shared sense of camaraderie, and laughter bubbled up as people shared stories. It was a reminder that even in challenging situations, positivity could flourish. Suddenly, Taylor felt a spark of inspiration. "What if we host a little impromptu jam session here?" she suggested, her eyes lighting up. "It could be a fun way to lift everyone's spirits." Keanu's eyes widened in surprise. "Are you serious? That would be amazing. But what about, the logistics?" Taylor waved her hand dismissively. "We can make it happen. I'll grab my guitar from my room. It'll be a great way to connect with everyone, and who knows? Maybe we'll even inspire some of them." Keanu's face broke into a wide smile. "Let's do it. I love the idea. You know how to create magic, Taylor." With newfound energy, Taylor excused herself and dashed to her room. As she retrieved her guitar, she felt exhilarated. The thought of sharing music with a group of strangers was both thrilling and terrifying, but the prospect of creating something special outweighed her fears. When she returned to the rooftop, she found Keanu engaging with the crowd, his charm radiating as he talked with guests and encouraged them to join in. The bar was buzzing with excitement as word spread about the jam session. "All right, everyone," Taylor called out, her voice ringing clear above the chatter. "We're going to have a little jam session right here. Who wants to join us?" The response was immediate. Guests began gathering around, curiosity sparking in their eyes. Some pulled out instruments they had brought, while others formed a spontaneous audience. Taylor felt a rush of adrenaline as she strummed the first chords of a familiar song. As she sang, the crowd joined in, their voices harmonizing with hers. It felt electric, the energy rising as they all shared this moment of joy and connection. Taylor glanced over at Keanu, who was clapping along, his smile infectious. As the music flowed, Taylor lost herself in the moment, each note carrying her worries away. She glanced around at the smiling faces, realizing that they were all there for the same reason: to enjoy the simple pleasure of music and camaraderie. After a few songs, she paused to catch her breath, her heart full. "Thank you all for being here. This is what life is about, connecting through music and laughter." Just as she was about to launch into another song, Keanu stepped forward. I think we need a little more inspiration. What do you say, Taylor? Shall we invite some of our new friends to join us? Taylor nodded, her excitement bubbling over. Absolutely. If anyone wants to come up and share a song, we love that. One by one, guests began stepping forward, each sharing their talents. The rooftop filled with laughter, clapping, and the beautiful sounds of music echoing under the stars. In that moment, surrounded by laughter and the warmth of genuine connection, Taylor realized how much she had needed this. She was reminded of why she had pursued music in the first place, to create moments of joy and connection with others. As the evening progressed, Taylor caught Keanu's eye, and he smiled back at her. There was an unspoken understanding between them, a recognition of the magic that can arise when people come together. Little did she know, this moment was only the beginning of a deeper journey they would embark on together. As the music flowed and laughter echoed around the rooftop, Taylor felt a sense of liberation wash over her. It was as if she had stepped into a world where fame and expectations faded away, leaving only the joy of shared experiences. Guests took turns performing, showcasing their talents, and the atmosphere was electric with creativity. Taylor watched as Keanu stepped up to the microphone, his demeanor relaxed yet commanding. All right, everyone. I think it's time for a little fun, he announced, eliciting cheers from the crowd. I'm not a musician like Taylor, but I can tell a story or two. With that, he launched into a light-hearted tale from his early acting days, recounting a hilarious on-set mishap that had everyone in stitches. Taylor couldn't help but smile, enchanted by his storytelling. He had a gift for making people feel at ease, drawing them in with his charisma. When he finished, the crowd erupted in applause, and Keanu gave a mock bow. Thank you, thank you. Now, let's get back to the real talent, he said, gesturing for Taylor to take the spotlight again. Feeling emboldened, she grabbed her guitar and played a few of her hits, the crowd singing along and swaying to the music. In that moment, she felt a profound connection with everyone around her, as if they were all united in a beautiful tapestry woven together by song and laughter. As the night wore on, the rooftop transformed into a magical scene, illuminated by twinkling fairy lights and the soft glow of the city skyline. Taylor couldn't remember the last time she felt so free, so alive. Between songs, she glanced over at Keanu, who was chatting with some guests. His genuine laughter filled the air, and she felt a warmth in her chest. It was more than just attraction. It was a deep appreciation for his spirit. He had shown her that kindness and connection could thrive even amidst chaos. Finally, as the impromptu session began to wind down, Taylor strummed the final chords of her last song. Thank you all for sharing this incredible evening with us, she called out, her heart full. Let's keep this spirit alive, no matter what life throws our way. The crowd erupted into applause, and Taylor beamed with gratitude. As the guests began to disperse, she felt a bittersweet pang. This night had brought her so much joy, but she didn't want it to end. Let's go grab a bite to eat, Keanu suggested, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. I know a great little diner not far from here. They have the best pancakes. Taylor laughed, feeling the spark of adventure. Count me in. Pancakes sound amazing right now. They made their way down to the street, the city buzzing with life around them. As they walked side by side, the conversation flowed effortlessly, moving from lighthearted topics to deeper discussions about life, dreams, and the challenges they faced in their respective industries. You know, sometimes I feel like I'm living in a bubble, Keanu confessed as they reached the diner. People see the fame and success, but they don't always see the struggles behind it. Taylor nodded, understanding his sentiment all too well. It's easy to feel isolated when everyone has expectations of you. But I think moments like tonight remind us of what really matters, the connections we make. They settled into a cozy booth, the warm ambience of the diner creating a sense of comfort. As they dug into their food, Taylor realized how refreshing it was to share a meal with someone who genuinely understood the complexities of her life. Between bites, they exchanged stories about their families, their journeys, and the lessons they had learned along the way. Keanu spoke fondly of his late father, sharing how his passing had shaped his perspective on life. Taylor listened, captivated by his vulnerability. It was rare for her to find someone willing to peel back the layers and share their truth. As they finished their meal, Taylor felt a sense of gratitude wash over her. "Thank you for tonight. I didn't expect to have this kind of connection with someone," she admitted, her voice sincere. Keanu met her gaze, a softness in his eyes. "Neither did I. It's refreshing to find someone who gets it. You have an incredible spirit, Taylor. I admire that." The air between them felt charged, and for a brief moment, time stood still. Taylor felt a warmth spread through her, a feeling she hadn't experienced in a long time. It was as if they were two kindred spirits, finding solace in each other's presence amidst the chaos of their lives. As they left the diner, the cool night air enveloped them, and Taylor felt a sense of possibility blooming within her. The weekend had already exceeded her expectations, and now, with Keanu by her side, she felt hopeful about what lay ahead. "Do you want to take a walk?" Keanu suggested, glancing at her with a playful smile. "I know a few hidden gems in the city." "Absolutely," Taylor replied, her heart racing with anticipation. They strolled through the streets, the city alive with energy. As they wandered, they shared more laughter, exchanged stories, and embraced the unexpected moments that unfolded. Taylor felt lighter, the weight of her insecurities lifting as she immersed herself in the joy of their connection. With each passing minute, it became clear that this weekend was about more than just an escape. It was a chance for Taylor to rediscover herself, to embrace vulnerability, and to connect with someone who understood her journey. Little did she know that the bond they were forming would lead to even greater revelations in the days to come. As Taylor and Keanu wandered through the vibrant streets of the city, the night felt alive with possibilities. The sounds of laughter and music filled the air, and the lights twinkled like stars overhead. Taylor felt a sense of freedom she hadn't experienced in years, and it was intoxicating. "Have you ever thought about what life would be like if you weren't famous?" Keanu asked, his tone casual yet probing. Taylor pondered the question. "All the time," she admitted. "I sometimes wonder what it would be like to live a normal life, to have simple joys without the spotlight. But then again, I love music too much to give it up." Keanu nodded thoughtfully. "It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? The fame can be suffocating, but it also opens doors to incredible experiences." "I guess that's true," Taylor replied, her mind racing with memories of her journey. "But the pressure to always be on can be exhausting. I often feel like I have to put on a facade just to meet people's expectations." "I get that," Keanu said, his expression sincere. "I think we all wear masks at times. It's easy to hide behind them, especially when everyone expects you to be perfect." As they continued their walk, the conversation shifted to lighter topics, but the weight of Keanu's words lingered in Taylor's mind. She appreciated his honesty and vulnerability. It felt refreshing to talk to someone who understood the struggles that came with fame. They eventually found themselves at a small park, its serene atmosphere a stark contrast to the bustling city. Taylor felt drawn to a bench beneath a sprawling oak tree. "Let's sit for a moment," she suggested, feeling the need to pause and soak in the tranquility. As they settled onto the bench, the air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers. Keanu turned to her, a hint of seriousness in his eyes. "Can I ask you something personal?" "Of course," Taylor replied, her heart racing. "Have you ever struggled with self-doubt? Like, wondering if you're enough?" he asked, his voice soft but direct. The question struck a chord deep within her. Taylor took a breath, contemplating how to articulate her feelings. "All the time. It's hard to shake off the fear that I'm not good enough, especially when the world seems to have such high expectations." Keanu nodded, his gaze steady. "You're not alone in that. I think a lot of people feel that way, but it's easy to forget when you're in the limelight. You've achieved so much, yet you still grapple with those insecurities. It makes you human." Taylor felt a wave of relief wash over her. "Thank you for saying that. It's comforting to know that even someone like you, who seems so confident and accomplished, has those moments." There was a brief silence as they absorbed each other's words. The vulnerability between them created an unspoken bond, deepening the connection that had blossomed throughout the weekend. "Can I tell you a secret?" Keanu said, leaning in slightly. Sometimes I wonder if people truly see me for who I am or just the characters I portray. It's tough to know if I'll ever be viewed as just Keanu. Taylor felt a pang of empathy for him. I understand that. It's hard to separate our identities from our public personas. I think the most important thing is to find those who see us beyond the surface. He smiled, a warmth radiating from his eyes. Exactly. And I think we're both lucky to have found each other this weekend. Just as Taylor was about to respond, a couple strolled by, recognizing Keanu. "Oh my gosh, it's Keanu Reeves," one of them exclaimed, excitement bubbling in their voices. Keanu chuckled, quickly standing up and waving. "Hey there, how are you?" As they chatted, Taylor observed the interaction from the sidelines, a small smile playing on her lips. It was heartwarming to see Keanu interact with fans, effortlessly embodying both humility and charm. After a few moments, the couple moved on, and Keanu returned to the bench, a thoughtful expression on his face. It's moments like that which remind me of the impact we can have on people's lives, even if it feels overwhelming. Definitely, Taylor agreed. But it's the little connections that matter the most, the ones where you feel seen and heard. As they continued to share stories, the conversation flowed naturally, but Taylor felt a shift within herself. The deeper they delved into their thoughts and feelings, the more she realized how much she had been holding back. "Keanu," she began, her voice steady but vulnerable, "I feel like I can be honest with you. I've struggled with trust because of my experiences in the industry, but this weekend has been different. You've made me feel comfortable being myself, and I really appreciate that." His expression softened, and he reached out to place a reassuring hand on hers. "That means a lot to me, Taylor. I want you to know that I'm here for you, no matter what. It's rare to find someone who truly understands the complexities of this life." A surge of warmth flooded Taylor's chest at his words. She had spent so long guarding her heart, but with Keanu, it felt safe to let her guard down. "Thank you. I think I've been afraid to be vulnerable, to show my true self. But with you, it feels freeing." As they sat beneath the stars, the air thick with unspoken emotions, Taylor realized how much she craved this connection. It wasn't just a fleeting moment. It was a profound shift in her journey, one that was leading her towards self-acceptance. "Can I share something with you?" Keanu asked, his voice low and earnest. "Absolutely," Taylor encouraged, her heart racing with anticipation. "I've always believed in the power of moments. I think every connection we make has the potential to change our lives in unexpected ways. This weekend has reminded me of that." He paused, searching her eyes. "And I don't want it to end." Taylor's breath caught in her throat. The weight of his words hung in the air, and she felt a mixture of excitement and vulnerability. "Neither do I," she admitted, her voice barely a whisper. As the night deepened around them, Taylor knew that whatever came next, she was ready to embrace it. With Keanu by her side, she felt a sense of hope and possibility she hadn't felt in years. Little did they both know, the journey ahead would test their connection in ways they never anticipated. The following morning, Taylor awoke with a renewed sense of purpose. Sunlight streamed through the curtains of her hotel room, illuminating the space with a warm glow. As she stretched and took a moment to reflect on the whirlwind of emotions from the previous night, she couldn't shake the feeling that something significant was shifting within her. After a quick shower and a bite to eat, she decided to head down to the hotel's cafe for a coffee. The events of the past few days had left her invigorated, but there was still a lingering uncertainty about how to navigate the connection she had formed with Keanu. As she sipped her coffee, she scrolled through her phone, catching up on messages and notifications. Among the usual buzz of social media, she noticed a notification from Keanu. It was a simple text, "Morning, Taylor. Hope you're ready for another adventure today." A smile broke across her face as she quickly replied, "Absolutely. What do you have in mind?" Before she could even finish her coffee, Keanu appeared at the cafe entrance, his signature grin lighting up the room. "Hey there. Ready to explore?" "More than ready," Taylor replied, her heart fluttering at the sight of him. She set her cup down and joined him, feeling a thrill of excitement course through her veins. "Good. I thought we could take a stroll along the river, and maybe find a local market, he suggested. I hear they have some great food and music. That sounds perfect, Taylor said, and they set off together, the morning air fresh and invigorating. As they walked, Keanu shared stories about his time in the city, pointing out hidden gems along the way, quirky shops, beautiful murals, and quaint cafes. Each place he described felt imbued with his memories, creating a rich tapestry of experiences that resonated with Taylor. Do you have a favorite spot? She asked, genuinely curious. He paused, considering. I think it has to be this little bookstore I found a few years ago. It's small, but it has such character. There's a cozy nook in the back where you can just sit and lose yourself in a good book. Taylor felt a wave of warmth at his words. I love that. There's something magical about finding a space where you can just be yourself. Their conversation flowed easily, and Taylor felt the bond between them deepening. As they approached the river, she noticed the sun glimmering on the water's surface, casting sparkles that mirrored the excitement in her heart. When they arrived at the market, the atmosphere was vibrant, filled with the sounds of laughter, music, and the sizzling of street food. Taylor's senses were overwhelmed by the aromas wafting through the air. She felt an exhilarating sense of freedom here, away from the pressures of her life. What do you want to try first? Keanu asked, looking around eagerly. I'm definitely in the mood for some fresh fruit and maybe those tacos over there, she replied, pointing to a food stall adorned with colorful decorations. They made their way through the market, sampling various foods and engaging with local vendors. Taylor felt alive in the moment, and with every shared bite and laughter, she noticed the wall she had built around her heart beginning to crumble. After they finished their tacos, Keanu suggested they find a spot to sit and enjoy the music. They settled on a bench near a small stage where local musicians were performing. The lively tunes filled the air, and Taylor couldn't help but sway to the rhythm, her heart soaring. This is amazing, she said, leaning back against the bench. It feels so genuine. Keanu watched her, his expression thoughtful. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I think we often forget to appreciate the little things in life, like music, food, and just being in the moment. Taylor turned to him, feeling the weight of his gaze. You really have a way of making me see things differently. I've been so focused on my career that I've lost sight of the simple joys. I think that's something we can all relate to, he replied, his voice softening. But it's never too late to reconnect with what truly matters. In that moment, Taylor felt a surge of emotion. Keanu's presence had helped her see beyond the constraints of her fame, reminding her of the beauty in vulnerability and authenticity. She knew she wanted to explore this connection further, but doubts lingered in the back of her mind. Keanu, can I ask you something? She said, hesitating for a moment. Of course, he replied, his attention fully on her. What happens after this weekend? I mean, we've shared so much already, but the reality of our lives is different, she said, her voice trembling slightly. He took a breath, his gaze steady. I understand your concern. Life can be chaotic, and we both have our commitments. But I believe in the power of connection, and I don't want to lose what we've found here. Taylor's heart raced at his words. She felt a flicker of hope, but the uncertainties of their lives loomed large. It's just, how do we maintain this when we go back to our worlds? Keanu leaned in closer, his sincerity evident. I think if we're both willing to make the effort, we can find a way. It won't always be easy, but I believe it's worth it. His words resonated deeply within her, and she felt a mix of excitement and fear. I want that too, but I'm scared of what that might mean. I've been hurt before, and it's hard to trust. He nodded, understanding etched across his face. Trust takes time, and it's okay to be scared. Just know that I'm here, and I won't push you into anything you're not ready for. As the music played on, Taylor felt a sense of clarity wash over her. This weekend had already changed her in ways she hadn't expected, and she wanted to embrace the possibility of something deeper with Keanu. Let's take it one step at a time, she said, her voice steady. I'm willing to explore this with you. A smile spread across Keanu's face, lighting up his features. That's all I ask. Let's see where this journey takes us. As they shared a quiet moment, surrounded by laughter and music, Taylor knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, She felt ready to face them with Keanu by her side. It was the start of something beautiful, an unexpected connection that would change both of their lives in ways they could never have imagined. With renewed hope in her heart, Taylor realized that she was no longer just a star in the spotlight. She was a woman willing to embrace love and vulnerability. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, she felt an exhilarating sense of possibility fill the air. Ready to embark on this new chapter together,